Okay, let's just get right into it. I'm guessing you felt this recently. You head to the grocery store, grab all your usual stuff, get to the checkout, and boom, the bill is just way higher than you expected. I'm here to tell you you're not imagining things. And the reason why? Well, it's happening thousands of miles from your kitchen.
Yeah, it's the question we're all asking, right? Your shopping cart looks pretty much the same week to week, but that final number on the receipt, it just keeps creeping up. So what on earth is going on?
And, you might think the answer is somewhere obvious, like a corporate boardroom, or maybe a problem with a local farm. But believe it or not, it's not. The real answer is tied to a huge geopolitical conflict, one that seems like it should have absolutely nothing to do with your daily life. So here's how quickly this all unfolded. It was just a month ago, February 28th, when this conflict between the US and Iran kicked off. Almost right away, global supply chains just started to freeze. And now, today, right now, the dominoes have fallen and the final one is landing right in your wallet. And look, don't just take my word for how serious this is. The International Energy Agency, these are the experts, they've already called this, and I quote, the greatest global energy and food security challenge in history. I mean, that is a massive statement. So how did it all go so wrong so fast? Well, it all comes down to one single, incredibly important spot on the map. A place we've all probably heard of, but maybe don't think about much. We're talking about a global choke point, the Strait of Hormuz. I mean, just look at it. At its narrowest point, this little strip of water is only 33 kilometers wide. That's it. It's this tiny little corridor between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula. But its importance? Wow, you just can't overstate it. Get this, 1/5, a full 20% of the entire world's daily energy supply flows through that one little spot. Think of all the oil, all the natural gas. It's like the jugular vein of the global economy. If that gets pinched, everything is in trouble. And that's exactly what's happened. Since the fighting started, the strait has been effectively shut down. You've got ships being attacked, threats of sea mines, so commercial shipping, it's pretty much ground to a halt. You can just picture it, hundreds of huge tankers just sitting there in the water, totally stuck. So you shut down the world's most important energy waterway. What happens next? Well, you get an immediate and absolutely historic oil shock. We're talking about the biggest one the world has ever seen. 10 million barrels of oil per day? Just poof. Wiped off the global market. To put that in perspective, this is the single largest supply disruption in all of history, ever. Okay, so let's connect the dots. How do we get from a war over there to a higher bill for you? It's a chain reaction, right? The strait closes down, which causes oil prices to spike. That, of course, makes transportation more expensive. But here's the part most people don't see. The next two steps are the fertilizer crisis and the food price explosion that comes right after. Let's walk through it. All right, here's the first, most obvious hit. Think about it. Pretty much everything in that grocery store got there on a truck, right? And what do trucks run on? Fuel. In just 1 month, the cost to fill up the tank of a typical food delivery truck shot up by 26%. And that cost, it has to go somewhere. It gets baked right into the price of everything you buy. Your milk, your bread, all of it. But honestly, higher gas prices? That's just the beginning of the story. Now we get to the real hidden link in this whole chain, the part that is arguably way more dangerous and something most of us never even think about. We're talking about fertilizer.
Yeah, fertilizer. And this number is absolutely staggering. About 1/3, a third of all the ingredients needed to make fertilizer for the entire planet pass through that same little strait that's now closed. We're talking about 1/3 of the very stuff farmers need to grow the food that ends up on our plates.
And the timing? Oh, it could not possibly be worse. This is all happening right at the start of the spring planting season in the Northern Hemisphere. This is when farmers need that fertilizer now. A disruption like this, right now, means smaller harvests later on. We could be feeling this for months, maybe even years.
Okay, so let's bring it all back home. Back to that moment you're standing at the checkout. How do these giant global problems, the oil shock, the fertilizer shortage, how do they actually translate into higher prices in your cart?
Well, let's take a look. First up, wheat and bread. Their prices are soaring because of both fertilizer and transport costs. Then you've got meat, dairy, and poultry. Well, the animals eat things like corn, and corn needs fertilizer. See the connection? Anything imported, like coffee or certain produce, hit hard by shipping costs. And get this, even processed foods in plastic containers get more expensive because plastic is made from oil. It really does touch everything.
Now, here's something you need to keep an eye out for. It's a pretty sneaky tactic companies use when their own costs go up. It's called shrinkflation. Basically, it's a hidden price hike. The price on the shelf stays the same, but they quietly make the package a little smaller. So, here's what that looks like. You pay the same $5 for your favorite bag of chips, but suddenly, there's a lot more air in the bag and fewer chips. That's shrinkflation. It's their way of passing the extra cost to you, hoping you won't notice. So yeah, definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. All right, let's just zoom out for a minute and look at the really big picture here. Because this whole thing isn't just about one conflict or one single waterway. It's a wake-up call about how incredibly fragile this whole global system really is. I mean, just think about the last few years. It's been one thing after another, right? Our global economy has been hit with 3 massive body blows in a row. First, the COVID-19 pandemic, then the war in Ukraine, and now this. Each one of these events has just pulled back the curtain and shown us how fragile our interconnected world actually is. So if there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's this. Wars aren't just fought on battlefields anymore. They're also fought in our grocery stores. These conflicts that seem so far away, they have a very real, very direct economic front line, and that front line runs right through your shopping cart.
And all of this leaves us with a pretty tough and honestly kind of unsettling question. We've seen our global supply chains bend and stretch under all this pressure. The real question is, how many more of these shocks can the system take before it doesn't just bend, but it breaks for good?